Yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy Connor. Welcome back to Slinging Sips on American Coffee Trip. Today I have with me a single origin coffee from Nomad Coffee Roasters. I got this Jacob Alejandro. This is a single origin Peru, saying tasting notes of cocoa, red apple, and muscovado sugar. And one thing I really like about Nomad is they got like these QR codes here. You can gather more information on the coffee if you'd like to. But it's a washed processed coffee. I'm gonna break it open for the first time now and try it on V60 pour over. So let me get the water started. Put my brewer up top here. You guys just want to take a look at that a little bit closer. I'm gonna weigh out my beans. So crack this bag open. Damn, that smells good. Get my scale out. Today I'm gonna weigh out 19 grams for this particular coffee. Always when I'm starting a brand new bag, you know, you never really know exactly where you want to have it dialed in depending on the bean density and how quickly water passes through overall. So I set my grind size to about 3.6 on the Kinu and we'll work from there. Should have had this ready before I started recording, but got it here. Let's weigh this out. Scale zeroed out. $19.3 grams. I always leave a little bit of room so that way when I grind my coffee, I have a little bit of like accountability for the purge that's gonna happen. So there will be a little bit of loss transferred through that. As per usual, air out the bag of coffee so that way it stays fresh for longer. Let's grind this up. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna keep my scale out here. Here we go. Okay, brewer's ready. I can grab my coffee filter. This is the little triangular one, and what I'm going to want to do is make that outer fold. So I'm going to take this portion. I'm just going to fold like that on the outside, so that way it looks like so. And now, just going to wait on the water. Open the filter up. Right inside the brewer. I can't control the bugs, guys. This time of year is really freaking hot. Every time I go out hiking now, it's just swarms of bugs. And what are you gonna do? It's this heat. You just kind of deal with it. There we go. Always wet your filter separately. Give it a little swirl so that way the paper kind of sticks to the sides. And then I'll give this a swirl. Okay. So now what I want to do is get my brewer set up. I have it face the camera. I'm going to zero that out. Set the grinder to the side. What am I getting? 18.9 grams. Now at some point soon I'm going to be getting a new scale. This one is sometimes off by even up to half a gram, which I think is absolutely significant enough to upgrade to a digital scale. And then this scale will be purely for doing backpacking trips. So when I take this out for like the Backcountry Barista series, the next hike that I do for Backcountry Barista, I'm actually going to finally incorporate a coffee element. Forever, I have been financially struggling, and now I'm getting back up on my feet and still trying to make content for you guys. Here we are, reviewing this coffee. Zero the scale out here. Brewer's ready. I'm going to start the timer. We're going to go for our 60 gram bloom. A little bit over 70 grams. This is my first time actually doing this table from this height as well. So changing the way I pour here. Already I can tell this is moving fast. I'm going to have an almost dry bed by the time the next pour starts. So I'm going to start a little bit early. It's just past 150. I can already tell for my next pour, I'm actually going to go a lot finer with the grind. I'm right around 3.6, and I'm going to bring it down to maybe like 3. But we'll see what the final brew ends up being. Right up to 220. And then my final pour should land, I want to land right around 290. Go the fuck away. I swear I need to get a bug zapper. Let's go for that final pour before I lose this. $295 final output. So now what I'm watching for is that final output time. We're at 1 minute 55 seconds. Now that I'm watching this, actually watching the flow of this more, I'm only thinking I need to dial the grinder back just a little bit more fine, because as you noticed on that first pour, you started to see that bed dry up a little bit too quickly, and that was affecting the flow rate. And that's going to affect the final output time, which we're standing at right around 2 minutes 15 seconds. So that was very quick. I'll definitely do another shot of this on Slinging Sip's POV. I like to do my first open bag reviews here, and then after that it can just be just the sounds. You can just listen and watch coffee being brewed. And usually my Slinging Sips POV, as it's starting to turn out, is a more dialed in version of this. So I'm okay with being a little bit sloppy here. It's still gonna be a pretty fantastic tasting pour over. You know, I'm Not really sure the last time I had a Peru coffee. It might have been from DAC Coffee Roasters maybe a few months ago. I'm not sure if I have a video of that or not, but beyond that, no idea. I haven't had a lot of Peru coffees recently. I don't think I've ever had one from Nomad. I've had a Colombia and one other origin that I can't seem to remember. So, back to the drink itself. Time to take a sip. I'm going to tell you all what I think about it. I'm just going to cool that down. The cocoa tasting notes certainly come on a little bit later. It starts out with a hint of fruitiness and it switches real quick to the last tasting notes. It takes a while for that last tasting note to come off the tongue for me, but just letting it sit there for a few seconds on my tongue and letting it kind of evaporate, it's real nice, it's real pleasant. It's a very quick transition between tasting notes. DAC Coffee Roasters, and there's a few other coffee roasters that like to kind of blend those tasting notes a little bit better to where it's more of a kind of you're riding through them, where this one introduces you to each one. And there's different pros and cons to that depending on kind of what you want to drink. It's a little bit tart as well, just very slightly, and it's not sweet like a berry tasting note, but more of like a sweet fruit, like more towards the line of like cantaloupe. I wouldn't call it cantaloupe. Tropical fruit, but not very aromatic and hard hitting, more of like a lightly sweet tropical fruit. I can see where they got that wild, what are the tasting notes? You guys can read them from there, probably. I gotta read them from here. Cocoa, red apple, muscovado sugar. Red apple. I kind of see what they're getting at with the apple tasting note. Because it's got that tartness to it, but it is also sweet. And then the cocoa comes in later on. It's just nice and sweet all the way through. Not really that bitter. There's bitter's not a good word for it. The little bit of tartness comes through right at the beginning. It's really pleasant. Yeah, I've always loved coffees from Peru. They've got a great coffee drinking culture. I've always had sweeter coffees from Peru. I've never had anything that's particularly bold on the fruity tasting notes. I see that a lot coming from Costa Rican coffees. Although, of course, you know, a coffee's taste profile is not bound to the region that it's from. You know, if you're used to chocolatey tasting notes, like coming from Guatemala, maybe the region itself is known for that, but that could change and vary based on a bunch of different characteristics, whether it be the weather, the harvest that season, what farmer specifically is actually going about it, the washing process, which this coffee in particular is washed. That cherry is washed right off. I've been trying a few like natural dry processed coffees lately, and I really like how it retains some of the coffee cherry tasting notes a little bit more coming through it, and it's a bit It's a bit more, like it kind of says, natural, where the washed is also natural and also has its own kind of appeal to it, but it's going to give you a generally a more clean tasting coffee than the naturals will. And washing is generally more popular among farmers from what I've seen. It's harder to find a naturally processed coffee. But this is fantastic. Yet again, I've always enjoyed coffees from Peru, and this one's no different, except coming from the boys at Nomad Coffee. And not the Nomad Coffee from Vermont, although that's also awesome. Up near Burlington at Essex Junction, you can find 2 different Nomad Coffee spots. Really great. But yeah, as of right now, I have been, and this is just going to be a quick channel update before I finish off with just another little sip and then end the video. I have been, definitely strapped for cash for this project. It has slowed down quite a lot just because I'm gassed out and I'm pretty damn tired right now. But slowly but surely, I'm building my way back up, and I've got a bunch of trips planned going through to the rest of the summer. There's going to be some backcountry barista trips as well as some single sip trips. And I have a specific goal in mind for how far I actually want to get with the single sip. So that's going to be coming up soon-ish. But with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.